You're still on Business This Week, special Friday edition, reaching you live from ITV Benin Network Center. Now, today we are diving into a critical issue that affects millions of Nigerians and it's got significant implications for the country's economy. A constant power outage, the unreliable power supply in Nigeria has long been a source of frustration for businesses and individuals alike, impacting productivity, hindering economic growth, and shifting development. In this episode, we'll be looking at the effect of persistent power outages on Nigeria's economy. And to help us make sense out of this discussion, we have Mr. Kelly Erel-Motai. He's the MD, CEO, Riverton Homes, and he's a business expert. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much, Mr. DP.
Good to see you.
Thank you very much.
All right, now walk us through power supply.
Okay.
It's an age-long issue. We grew up in Nigeria knowing that we don't normally see lights. There are areas or there are communities now where kids born there 15 years ago, they don't know how average power supply look like. They only probably know generator or other means of generating power. How did we get here? And can we ever come out of it?
Well, for us as a country, Nigeria, should I say it's by God's grace if we're ever going to get out of this? Because like you said, it's like an age-long something. It's not looking as if it's something that we should be used to as a Nigerian. You should be used to epileptic power supply, or you should not expect light at all. If you see light, praise God. There were some times that when we were still growing up, we praying, Father, let them bring light. You understand?
So it's like prayer points.
And then before you know, we just do prayers, they'll just bring light. We start saying, hey, it's a miracle. It's not supposed to be like that. Now, as a developing country that wants to be in the forefront, or let's not go too wide. Let's talk about Edo State. Let's bring it down. I think it's actually possible for us to have steady power supply, but our government is. I don't really know. I'm not really in the government, but from what we are seeing, it doesn't seem as if they want us to have steady power supply. Probably because many of them have other businesses that, like for instance, let's say generator business or solar business that is fetching them more money. So if they should give us steady power supply, the revenue they are getting from sales of their generator and all of that will stop.
So are you saying in a way those in power have a way of frustrating this progress?
For instance, you are in business, you are a businessman, you are into solar production business. You know it's a big business now. Because I actually priced solar. I think as a last year when I did negotiation, they told me about 800,000 or so because I'm planning to get power office. Right now I asked for price, I think in February, they were telling me about 1.2 million naira for solar.
800K
to 1.2 million naira to install it and everything, so you can power the full office. You can imagine. So for instance, you're in that business and then you run for election, you won. If you give us steady power supply, would your business keep on going? I feel many persons that are in power are actually into these businesses. But that's my own personal belief. Because I don't see why they will withhold power. And I still feel probably because the supply of the megawatts is the main reason why we're having power shortage. From statistics, studies shows that 1 million households should have about 1,000 megawatts power supply. And for instance, BDC supplies 4 states, that is Benin, Ekiti, Ondo State, and Delta State, which has about, 4 to 5 million households. I feel if they can increase the megawatts, that's BDC now, for this region, I feel we may have, if not 24 hours, we can start somewhere. So it's possible that we can say, okay, let's celebrate 18 hours power supply. It's still. So
how has this poor power supply affected business as a business owner?
For us, it has increased our cost of running the office. Especially now that fuel is very expensive. That's why we're thinking of getting solar. But when we hear the price, it's like for now we'll still continue with the fueling. Because fuel price now has made everything so difficult. You understand? Normally, cost of running the office per day, let's assume it's about, let's say, 50,000 naira. Now, because of low power supply, now we don't have to start getting for that alternative sources. We spend more. You understand? We can spend up to 6,000 to 7,000 naira on. I'm trying to. We also have investment because we have a laundry business that we do, wash and span. We sometimes we actually feel for our clients that come to Partner, because if we start telling them our expense, especially for fuel purpose, because they may not patronize us again. You understand? Because we have to power up the washing machine, power up the dryer and all of that, so we can give them express services, because most of them love express jobs. You understand? I don't want to digress too much. For us as a businessman, as a business person, it's affecting business so bad. And if you start giving customers, this is the price, they'll start feeling you have to cheat them. And they won't, because we have to put into factor cost of production.
As you're increasing the money you're spending to get fuel now, you definitely want to increase prices. You review prices.
Of course, definitely, because it's all part of production cost or running cost. No organization wants to run at loss, and that is why most small-scale businesses, many of them are out of businesses. You understand? Because they just started, and power is one big challenge for them, so they spend more in getting it.
We have Zungeru Dam, we have in Kainji, we have in Shiro. That's just Niger State.
Yeah.
But however, we still battle with constant power supply. In the business roundup story that I took earlier, before we dived into this major discussion, I was actually giving a breakdown of some of the states where we have generating plants. I'm trying to go there. Okay, on paper, Zungeru hydropower plant is estimated to generate about 2.64 billion kilowatts per hour.
Okay.
And like you said, every 4 homes, or how many? How did you do it? 4 houses.
And for 1 million houses, they should use about 1,000. So if we have up to 4 million houses, they should have like 4,000
we should have more than enough. If we have,
exactly.
If on paper we have Zungeru hydropower plant, we have, we also have one in Sapele. We have in Ugeli, we have Transcorp that is generating about 972 megawatts. We have somewhere in Igbe. So if all these power transmitting companies are there, why are we still battling and paying through our nose to get constant power supply?
I feel everything is politics. Just as I've said when I started, probably these persons, I don't want to start mentioning anybody's name because we're on TV. Most of these persons in politics, they are making money from it.
If you have fact and if you can prove it.
That is why I cannot mention this, you understand?
Yeah.
Because there are so many persons, there are so many news flying around, so we cannot actually verify whether it's true or not, you understand? So I believe they are using us for their own selfish interest, you understand? Because they have more to gain if they interrupt our own power source. I don't feel, for instance, the government they have power shortage. There's always lights. All of them working, they don't experience power outage. You understand? It's we, these poor masses, that are suffering this. Probably they are gaining more from it. I even feel if we have steady power supply, BDC will actually gain more, especially for those that are using prepaid meter. So I don't see the need for them to be holding power, except they are telling us that all these statistics you've mentioned now is not real. Probably they are just calling it for record's sake, because if it's actually real, like you have said, it should be enough to give us, if not 24 hours, at least 18 hours. We should have light we should be aware that for 18 hours a day there will be light. So the period of time there will be no light, at least we will not spend much of fueling. I know some areas where they have not experienced light for months. There was a time around Ring Road axis, almost a year, no light. Let's not even go too far, around Olukuye. I stayed around there before I left. About 8 months when I was there, no light.
About 8 months?
There was no light. What's the government doing about it? Because I was even I was asking some persons, I was asking persons around there, I was like, what have you done within yourself, community, to solve the issues? Well, like, the issue is not just that place, it's far. I think from this area, Evidence area, down to local area, there's no light. I don't know if they fixed it now, because I left there for some time now.
They still don't have lights.
You can imagine. So what is government doing about it?
Small-scale businesses, are they not choking them?
Obviously. Like, I can imagine, just let me just talk about our laundry business, for instance. Imagine we had a laundry business in that area. You see that many persons will not want to patronize us because we definitely want to increase our price. They want to go to areas where at least they have lights for some time. Because you won't expect us buying fuel. Now I think fuel is about 700 and something, 700 naira, some place 690. Just supposed to buy fuel and then do your job, run the generator from morning till evening, we pay staff. Then if we're watching for, let's say, 300 naira before, we'll continue watch for 300. We'll have to increase it because it's the light issue has lingered for too long. So it's not like a normal thing for us in the area. So many persons will not want to patronize, they want to go outside. Only a few persons want to stay.
Some persons are saying there's no need to privatize the power sector again. Reverse it and go back to normal. Let's go back to status quo.
When it was normal, but we still having steady power supply. Even now that it has been privatized, are you telling me that government doesn't have money? It's a public-private partnership now. It's not fully privatized now. So there's government involvement in it. So it's both ends. If government can, like for instance, I was reading the news on Abia State having 24 hours power supply. Now, if government can actually decide that they are going to have 24 hours power supply, the private sector doesn't have any excuse than to deliver 24 hours power supply. You understand? The best is probably if they don't have enough resources at their disposal to do it. Since it's a public-private partnership, government can come in and then they can work on it, you understand, and get our 24 hours power supply. It's supposed to be a normal thing, you understand. It's just that in Africa or in Nigeria, we already used to not having light, so nobody saying anything about it. And many business persons have been affected. You understand? We as a business person, we have been affected as well.
So do you see businesses folding up in the nearest future if we continue like this?
As an entrepreneur, I don't really feel if you are an entrepreneur really that is into business, you should not let things discourage you. You understand? But for those that don't have the heart of entrepreneurship, definitely their business are going to fold up. Statistics shows that small-scale businesses usually fold up within their first 5 years. You understand? So it's after the first 5 years you know those that are really tough as an entrepreneur, because this country makes you tough. Everything you go through school, you have to be tough. You finish from school, no job, you decide to start up your own business, now you still have to be tough. You understand? If you are not tough, the country will sweep you out of business.
Okay. So are there innovations you think government should introduce? Are there innovations?
There are alternative sources already, which persons are already diving into and even forgetting about government. Just like one of our estates, we are planning to have solar power by the time we start building there. So we will not have issues with government. All residents there, all persons that are going to be resident in the estate will not need to be waiting for NEPA connection or BDC connection. You understand? We'll just have solar, steady power supply. And then we've been doing research on this wind farm. Windmill farm is not really common in Nigeria here, probably because the wind level is not high like that. There are many innovations actually, apart from generator, and because now solar is getting very expensive. You understand? We can think of something else, maybe the windmill you get, but I don't think that would be for all areas. It has to be with area with high wind, you understand? So
corruption seems to be one of the major issues. What should those in power start doing to clean our system?
Who said there was someone that made a quote that corruption has eaten deep down into the fabrics of the nation. It has eaten deep down. It will be difficult for it to go out. Everybody is corrupt, from our leaders down to the household unit. There's corruption everywhere. Understand? I don't really think it has to be just the leaders who are in power that should do something about it. We as youths, we in the home, can do something about ourselves as well. You understand? Someone gave an instance that why would they give the first child a bigger meat in the house and give the second child a smaller one.
Portion. Oh.
Are they not both humans? According to human rights, everybody's equal. So why is it like that? So one person says it's corruption. You understand? For you to favor one person and leave the other out, this corruption as well. So it starts from there. You understand? So I believe what should happen is if we can inculcate an anti-corruption curriculum, permit me to use that word, starting from school. And so we need a new breed of youth. We need a new generation, because if we want to start cleaning up now, it's going to be very difficult, because corruption is actually a mindset something.
Now, according to report and data available, everyone is supposed to have prepaid meter in their houses more than 10 years ago. But those who even got the prepaid meter, they have a way of boycotting.
No, is that not corruption?
They have a way of boycotting and not paying. According to the report that we have, those that even pay for power supply, they are not even up to 3%.
That's the corruption we're talking about now. And the main reason why they're even doing that is probably because what VAT now for BDC tariff has increased. Before you were buying 1,000 naira, let's assume you're buying 1,000 naira, 1,000 units. You understand? And it could last you for, let's say, 5 days. Now, if you buy 1,000 units, it may not even go up to 3 days. It's finished. So what do you expect? And these persons now, their income level did not increase, but every other thing around them has increased. The tariff and VAT has increased. What do you expect them to do? So they start, since they cannot afford to buy solar, they can't buy. Is it enough to now buy? No, I'm not encouraging them to do it. I'm just telling reasons why most people do it. Okay. You understand? Because first of all, some persons just do it. Not like they don't have the money to actually afford it. They can afford it, but because of the corruption I'm talking about, they just do it, which is wrong. You understand? But if assuming as everything is increasing, their income level also increased, then they should not have any other excuse. You get me?
So how do you see the relationship between electricity supply and growth of small, medium-scale business? Have there been any good working relationship with them?
Just like we have discussed earlier, I don't think there's any good relationship, because electric power supply has actually done more harm to small-scale businesses than good. You cannot tell me that which business need light. Okay, let's assume a tailor that sews. You understand? You know, we've actually passed the era where you have to be peddling machine. You understand? Many of them has electric machine.
Just match it once and
exactly. They just press a button and then just be putting the cloth and they finish sewing. But because of no power, some of them can even buy the machine in their offices. You understand? Some of them, they are even tired of buying fuel. What would they do? They will have to stress themselves sewing. You understand? So some of them are actually not happy doing it. You understand? Some of them, it has reduced their productivity level, because the time that you used to pedal that machine, you understand, you can spend 1 hour pedaling machine to make one cloth, for instance. But that machine, if you are using a machine, electric machine, you can just easily finish sewing the cloth without wasting much time. And so I'm just using that as an instance. There are other examples. For instance, let's go into the agricultural sector. Let's say production of should we say let's say cassava production now, making finished goods. Let's say this powder for there are machines that you can actually buy to help you wash the cassava. There's machine for drying it. You understand? If you buy that machine now, you will need a big power plant or a steady power supply. You've gotten the machine, you spent a lot of money. Who doesn't have money to buy a big power plant? How will you run it? So it has actually reduced productivity level. So there is no good working relationship between. You cannot tell me that electric power supply is improving.
So do you think the government of the day, they are missing it from any angle? Because if you look at it critically, we have private universities in this country that have steady power supply.
Okay.
In Ogun State, for instance, there's a university there. They run on. They don't depend on a conventional power supply, and they have steady power there.
That's good.
So can't the government learn from these people and implement such? Is it possible?
There's actually nothing that's impossible. You understand? There's nothing. I don't believe there's anything that's impossible. America is larger than Nigeria now.
Definitely.
But they have steady power supply. just mentioned Ogun State, that particular university, I believe it's because the cycle that is receiving the light is actually small.
Okay.
Maybe if they start expanding into other persons, they may start having epileptic power supply because they have enough power for the consumers. So I believe if we can have enough power to supply to Nigerians, we can start from state to state or regions by regions. You understand? It must not be the whole Nigeria at once. Just like Abia State is about to start theirs. You understand? Edo State can also say, okay, let's start our own. You understand? By so doing, before you know it, if like 4 or 5 states have started.
Okay, now looking ahead, what's your advice to Nigerians that are actually going through this serious bad state of power supply? And what recommendation do you have for the government as we begin to wrap up now?
All right, for Nigerians who are entrepreneurs who depend on power supply for their businesses, if you have enough money, go and get alternative sources. That is my advice.
Okay.
Because especially when you are staying in this area, as you mentioned, the local area, there is no light. If you cannot relocate to a place where there is steady power supply, get alternative sources as quick as possible. And for our government, my advice is very simple. I'm very happy that Abia State is trying to do something that is out of the box, trying to create a steady power supply. Just watch out. If Abia State can actually do it, that state will be highly industrialized, even more than the way it is. I mean, before you know it, many companies will push their headquarters down there. If Benin, for instance, if Benin can have, even if it's 18 hours power supply, but just watch out how industrialized the state will be.
From
production, productivity level in Benin will spring up.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. Thank you so much for taking time to join us on the show. We'd like to see you again on the program. But this is how far we can go. We'll be seeing you on the next one. Do it for yourself. A blessed weekend ahead. And bye for now. My name is Daniel Praise.